guys, hey, welcome back to Lovely Monification, and it's me, Mona. Today in this video I have a very detailed wig making video for you today. Now in this video I'm going to show you how I construct a wig. It's going to be made out of the 3 bundles of Brazilian hair that I bought from my last AliExpress weave haul and it has turned out so beautiful, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's extremely long and extremely detailed, so yes, the length of this video, your eyes are not deceiving you because yes, it is this long. Now I started off with my wig cap. I got the wig cap from Sally's. It cost about maybe $5. Didn't cost that much, y'all. And I got the styrofoam and the styrofoam clamps that holds the styrofoam straight up and attached to the table. I got that also at Sally's as well. The styrofoam clamp cost about $10. The styrofoam head itself that you see, you should be seeing it up over here that you see, I got that from Sally's and it cost about $4 too. And as you see, the way I hold on the cap itself, I hold it on with different like large sewing needles and also some stud earrings. They work just as well and they hold it in place. Also, you guys, in this video, now I already sewed on the closure, which I got off of AliExpress over a year ago. It's a Brazilian closure and I have all the information below for that. And I already sewed it on before I started filming because I forgot to film and sew it on. But what I did was I took the closure and I sewed it on one side at a time, and I also left about a good centimeter and a half, 1.5 centimeters left off the wig cap itself, so it can fold more onto my natural hairline. So I always tend to do that. Also, you guys, I hope you guys really enjoy this. It's extremely informative, so sit back, relax, and let's get educated on making a wig. Okay, you guys, hey, okay, so what you guys see me here is I've already started on the very first track. I'm starting from bottom to top, and the way I do my threading is when I first start off with threading a needle, I use a curved needle and thread, and I stick the curved needle in and put the bottom part of the ending part of the thread and pull it through the needle so it makes a knot, and then I just continue this process going through. Now when you see the way I sew a track on to the wig cap, I do use the curved needle and I kind of wrap the excess around the curved needle so it will form, a little knot, and I comb as I go. As you can tell, I'm wrapping around the excess string around the needle as I pull it on through. So as you see here, I am cutting the track because I want it to lay extremely flat. Since this is my personal Brazilian hair, I do cut the tracks at the bottom when I'm forming this way up. Now as you see here, I'm cutting the thread because I've ran out of thread and it's time for me to use another needle. And I do tie a knot. I double tie it, sometimes triple tie it. As you see here, I'm triple tying it. And then I cut off the excess string or the thread to make sure it's nice and secure. As you see, I'm tugging on it. Now I'm starting again with more track that I'm sewing through. Now you guys, I do hold a thread in my mouth to keep it because sometimes I feel like I wish I had a third hand. So to keep the thread from tangling, I do put it between my lips, not all the way in my mouth, but between my lips to keep it from tangling. And like I said, I use the method where I sew through the track and the wig cap, and I wrap the excess string around the curved needle and pull it on through. So every time I pull it through, it creates a secure little knot. So that weave ain't going nowhere, ladies and gents. That weave is not going anywhere. Now I do curve it over as I start to work my way up, and I sew it twice at the curve point, and I make sure it's nice and secure and tight, and I continue on with my sewing method. Now as you see, it does move around, so I do have like little needles and little studs of earrings to keep the wig cap in place, because it does tend to move around when you're sewing. Also, I do not grab too much or go through too many holes when I'm pulling my thread through. As you see, here's a closer view of it. I do not go through too many holes, because when you go through too many holes when you're sewing through, it creates a smaller, it makes the wig smaller, and you got to be very careful about that, because you want to sew the track to the wig, not decrease the space of the wig cap itself. Thumbs up if you agree with me, because you don't want a smaller wig, especially if you already got a big head. So as you see here, I'm still pulling it through, and I'm continuing on with my sewing method until I get to the halfway point. Okay, you guys, as you see, I'm continuing on with my sewing method, and I do stop periodically, to comb the hair down, the tracks down, because when you pull your thread through those tracks and the wig cap, it does tend to get tangled, and I don't want that. So as you see here, I'm folding the edges because I'm at the flap near the ear. If you know about a wig cap, there's a flap that goes near the ear, and I wanted to make sure everything is laying very flat. So I'm very delicate when it comes to this part, when it comes to folding the edges, because I want to lay extremely flat. And I'm using the method and double knotting it and combing it as I go. Make sure this thread does not get tangled, and if it does get tangled, take your moment to untangle it with another curved needle, because that pointy end of the curved needles are pretty helpful when getting thread untangled. So now you see here, I'm towards the top, next to the eye level almost, if you're going off of the measurement of the styrofoam head. Okay, as you guys see, I'm working my way slowly and surely up to the top. The reason I am laying the track so close because I want this to be a very thick wig, and I am doing this extremely careful. So that's why it's all in fast time, because this took way longer than 20 minutes. So if it takes a little bit longer, it's okay. You guys can stop and pause the video. And now notice when I'm going towards the edges, meaning the frontal edges of the wig, I'm bringing the wig up, and then I'm gonna fold it around. I know I kind of skipped forward on that part, but I bring it up and then fold it. So when you see the hair, it's gonna fold when it goes away from your head and you curl it. It's gonna look like it's your natural hairline, and everything covers everything when it comes to laying tracks. So that's pretty helpful. Also, another helpful point when it comes to this is the slow tortoise gets the what is it, wins the race. The slow tortoise wins the race, because you want to be very detailed when it comes to making this wig, because you don't want any of the tracks to get loose when you're brushing it. You do not want any of the thread to break. So I always take my sweet time and I comb as I go to make sure there's no tangling. So it makes it easier when I comb and when I use my paddle brush, when I'm completely done with the wig. And I just make it short, just lay the tracks slowly and surely close together and do the same sewing pattern. Okay, you guys, as you see, I'm working my way up to the top very slowly and surely. As you see, the closer I get to the closure, which is at the top, I do make sure I lay my tracks extremely precisely and make sure they're extremely flat, because when I comb my hair, or when I comb the closure hair back, I want to make sure that it lays and it blends perfectly. So I sew extremely, very intricate. As you see, I'm cutting the thread here and I'm doing my double knotting as if you're doing a knot and tie in with 2 shoestrings, and you cut the excess off. And so now, as you see here, when I start a new thread, I stick the bottom in the curved needle, and I continue on with my sewing method. Now here I am getting closer and closer up there, and make sure you measure everything off. Now typically when you're making a wig, you're going to notice that you reach your edges faster, or when you're laying the tracks, you're going to reach your edges faster than you will reach the middle back portion. So what I do is I start laying tracks, and I will cut them just to make sure I keep up with the level and the the row of the weave. So it's okay if that happens. It happens to me all the time. That's when I have to do a funky method and just make sure I catch up with the tracks of laying them. Now, as you see, I'm now at the closure, and I'm doing double knotting because I wanted to lay flat, and I wanted to make sure that it lays extremely flat. I want to make sure that it's going to be secure. As you see, I'm sewing on top of the edge of the closure on the net, and I'm going to cut off the excess when I get towards the edge. If you see on there, you see how the little excess centimeter or 1.5 centimeters I left off, it's going to be laying further out, because when you comb your hair of the closure out, you want it to create a natural hairline. You don't want any tracks showing. So I do leave that out. And as you see, I'm almost done with the wig now. Just doing some fine tuning on the other side. Remember I told you about those track levels? Sometimes you got to catch up on the other side. And doing my last little double knotted sewing method. And make sure you bring it all the way to the top too. Do not go lazy and skip. If you have to cut a little piece and sew it down to make sure it brings it all the way to the top where the closure meets, make sure there's no gaps at all so it blends it, so it makes sure it blends perfectly, ladies. Like I told you, this video is going to be very detailed, you guys. So here I'm tying it down. Cutting our last knit on it, and we're taking down the closure, and we're just gonna comb it out, spray some water on it, and part it as if, you know how I did when I installed my other lace wig, and we're done. Concludes the video today. This beautiful wig, this is what I just made, and it turned out gorgeous. As you saw in the video, I used all 3 packets of the 16-inch Brazilian virgin hair Brazilian, to be exact. I used all 3 packs on this gorgeous wig. Oh, as you see, I wanted to point this out to you guys. Kept it on here. I did not cut this because it keeps it laying down. Also, I left out, and it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Now on the inside, you guys, I have a large head, so I had to cut the seams. Let me see if you guys can see it. I had to cut the seams and stretch it out to be able to fit my large head, you guys. But yeah, I hope this video was very educational for you guys, very informative for you guys, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and ta-ta.